Thank you, and thanks for joining us, Sandeep. I'm very happy to have Sandeep Biswas, CEO, Managing Director, and Director of Newcrest Mining, joining us this afternoon. Sandeep, welcome and thank you.
Thank you so much, Dean.
Just let me get right into it, Sandeep. Newcrest took its first step into Canada in 2019 with the acquisition of Redcrest in BC. And it's very exciting news to see Newcrest looking to increase its presence with the announcement of Pretium Resources acquisition just a few weeks ago. The agreement, in any case, it's not closed yet. But just wanted to get your insight as to how does this Pretium deal fit in with your strategy overall at Newcrest, and how do you see Newcrest being able to create shareholder value with this acquisition?
That's a very good question, Dean. If I take you back over time, we've constantly been saying, probably for the last 5 or 6 years now, that our strategy is about getting into tier one assets, right? Build an unrivaled portfolio of tier one assets, which is high ounces, low cost, and long life with exploration upside. So if you look at our steps over the last 5 or 6 years, we sold out of Gosowong, which was reaching the end of its life as a tier one asset. We sold out of Hidden Valley in Papua New Guinea. We also sold out of Bonikro in Cote d'Ivoire. At the same time, we bought into Lundin Gold, which is Fruta del Norte mine, which is a tier one asset, 32% there. And we also bought the finance facilities. We bought 70% of Redcrest, which is the transaction you referred to there, Dean. And we have now announced the potential acquisition of Pretium, which is a tier one asset. And we also have obviously Wafi-Golpu project yet to be approved, but that is no doubt a tier one asset. So this is why I'm saying it plays absolutely to our strategy. And where we add value is, well, if you look at Cadia, when we found Ridgeway, we then went on and identified Cadia East. When we bought into Golpu, we identified the underground. Well, we bought into Wafi actually and found Golpu underneath. So we have a history of actually adding value to whatever we get ourselves into, and we think that there's value to be added with bringing Pretium into our portfolio or the Bruce Jack mine. There's about $15 to $20 million worth of synergies. We also expect to be able to deconstrain the mine. The mill, we believe, can do a lot more than 3,800 tons a day, and then supply more ore to the mill itself, and subject to permits and what have you. And of course, the exploration upside. We see it's a 3 or 4 kilometer strike length. We know these deposits well, and we have high expectations of upside in terms of mine life and also other deposits as well.
Mm-hmm. No, you talk about realizing synergies through operational efficiencies and certainly exploration expertise, and you've had some successes there. Do you want to talk a little bit about that, and what are some of these successes you've had in the past, and what exactly do you do? Well, not exactly, but generally, what do you do differently that compared to others?
So exploration is part of our DNA. I mean, I touched on the value we added at Cadia. Gosowong was certainly a Newcrest discovery, and then we went on to find Togarachi after the original Gosowong pit. There was Kanchana, and then there was Togarachi. I mentioned how we bought into Wafi, and we found Golpu, which is the highest grade undeveloped copper gold porphyry in the world. So it is part of our DNA. More recently, the discovery of the East Ridge deposit at Redcrest, that wasn't on anyone's radar when we bought into Redcrest. Mm-hmm. So that's an example of the sort of value that we add through our exploration expertise. Mm-hmm. And the other one's Havieron, where we farmed into there where there was only 3 or 4 drill holes, and we've now gone on to the deposit's not even fully defined at the moment, but is significantly larger than what we expected. And we do that through, it's kind of mining related areas because of our block caving technology and also our narrow vein mining experience, stoping, whatever mine method one needs to use, even an open pit, we know how to do it. So our search space in exploration can go anywhere from surface exploration to kilometers deep. And that allows us to apply our technology. We're fast movers in technology in many, many ways in exploration. Also in big data and pattern recognition. That's something that really honed over the last couple of years. And of course, we drill a lot of holes because we're not worried about it, how deep the deposit is. Once we find something, we tend to punch a fair few holes in there, and that's the only way to ultimately find out what's there.
Interesting. For the acquisition that you just announced with Pretium, you're using 50% shares or script, as Australians call it, for the deal. How did the dual listing that you came on the TSX last almost just over a year, October last year? So how does that dual listing help, or has it helped your growth ambitions in the Americas?
Look, I think it's been pivotal in this particular transaction. We recognised some time back after the Redcrest, which was not a market transaction, that we needed to be able to offer cash and scrip to North American shareholders who may not otherwise be able to invest in the ASX. I mean, for the major companies in the world, it doesn't really matter. But for people who want to invest in a certain time zone or don't know the Australian market, so that currency of a TSX exchange to offer in this particular case a half scrip, half cash bid was instrumental. Very important for shareholders here to be able to have stock in the TSX listing if that's what they want.
Yes, the option is certainly something that we think is beneficial, and we're certainly hoping to see more Australian issuers like yourself following your lead, being the largest gold producer in Australia. So it was great to see the deal happening, and great to see this dual listing in Toronto being of benefit to your strategic goals. And so hoping to see more, and certainly we're here to help you as you raise your profile more in North America. I wanted to go back a little bit on the growth and your strategy overall. In addition to the inorganic growth from the proposed acquisition here, Newcrest recently announced a pre-feasibility study results from 4 organic projects at Lear, Redcrest, Havieron, and Cadia. Could you talk a little bit about this?
So Newcrest is well and truly into its growth phase, which we've been flagging for some time. The exciting ones that we announced, and they're all exciting actually, is if you start with Lihir, the 14A PFS gives a potential pathway for us to accelerate the time frame that Lihir gets above 1 million ounces per year. The higher fixed cost base at Lihir gives enormous leverage to the marginal ounce, and I think that will really cement Lihir as a tier 1 producer over 1 million ounces for quite some time. The expansion at Cadia, that's all about as the grade profile drops at Cadia, we're upping the size of the mine as well as the mill to 35 million and the capacity to probably go above that in order to offset some of that grade. So that's a very exciting project for Cadia. At Havieron, I mean, this is the rebirth of Telfer. I mean, Telfer's been going for 40 years, and I don't know how much longer it'll go for with Havieron because we haven't defined the size of the ore body. That's tremendously exciting. It's a PFS. It's only stage 1. We continue to look at how big that mine can be. We've got 22 million tons of milling capacity at Telfer. So if we can extend the life of Telfer and bring in the Havieron, that makes for a very exciting future at Telfer in Western Australia. And of course, Redcrest, right, in British Columbia. And the reason we bought into it was the development of the block cave. We've now defined that to PFS level. And that's not even no consideration given to East Ridge, which is a new discovery, which is we don't know the implications of that on the mine life or the size of the Redcrest operation. That's and all of these projects are north of 16% IRR, and at spot rates you can add another 5 or 6% to each one of them. So very exciting, Dean. And Pretium having that in the portfolio just kind of rounds that picture out.
Excellent. It's a pretty great growth profile, as you said earlier. The question comes to mind then, how are you positioned to fund these ambitions?
Well, you will have seen that we've got a very strong balance sheet. We're going to fund the cash portion of Pretium through existing facilities. But we've been planning this for a long time, and we went into the Pretium transaction net cash at the end of the year that we reported. And even last year we made 1.1 billion US dollar free cash flow, and that was spending 600 million on growth in that year as well.
Mhm.
So we believe that at current prices that we'll be able to fund all our growth ambitions through free cash flow, and we've got a strong balance sheet to draw on if we need it. So as I said, we've been preparing for quite some time for this.
Excellent, thank you. To finish off, I guess I'll give you the last word, just to leave investors with 3 key reasons they should consider Newcrest as an attractive investment option.
Newcrest over the coming years is going to become a unique gold company, and I'll explain why. So it's going to be a specialist in only essentially tier 1 assets, maybe one tier 2 asset. So they're all long life, they're all got upside on exploration, and they're all going to be low cost with an increasing copper profile. And what that does, of course, is bring your all-in sustaining costs down as well through volume and through copper. So we're saying in 8 to 9 years, we'll be down at the $500 all-in sustaining cost level at $3.30 copper price. There's no company above a 2 million ounces can show a profile like that. So that will make us unique. The other things that I'd point to is our exploration prowess and what the upside we have in projects like Wafi-Golpu as well, and innovation and technology. And we're the only meaningful block cavers in the world in the gold space, and that's given us entree into some great projects like Redcrest. And that's not our only technology. So we have a lot of proprietary technology and others that we're really world leaders in, which gives us an edge. And these are and a very strong balance sheet. So all good reasons, I think, to say that Newcrest has a very bright future ahead of it.
Thank you. Very well said. Sandeep, thank you for joining us, and we're looking forward to having you again next year.
Thanks, Dean. I appreciate the opportunity.
Thank you.